Hi everybody, my name's Rebecca Bullard. I'm a lecturer in the Department of English Literature here at Reading, and I'm also the admissions tutor for English Lit. And I'm here with my colleague, Dr. John McKean, and John's the programme director for our new degree in English and Comparative Literature, and it's that we'd like to talk to you about this evening. We hope that you might have some questions, and if you do, please feel free to just write them in the comments section on Facebook, and we'll pick those up as we go along and we can answer any of those. But we thought it would be useful possibly for you to know a little bit more about what comparative literature is, because it's something that you might not have come across before. So I want to begin then just by asking John, can you tell everybody who's listening what comparative literature is?
Yeah, sure. Well, I suppose literature has traditionally been studied as English literature, so texts written either in England and the United Kingdom, British Isles, or the Anglophone world more widely. But actually, comparative literature says that you're more likely to study literature well and to understand the richness of it if you look at a variety of perspectives and traditions. So comparative literature might involve literatures from different European traditions in translation. It might look more broadly than that as well, by looking at tales and myths and so on from around the world and from throughout history. So it's really got quite a broad perspective. Yeah, that's right.
So you might study a novel written in English alongside a novel written in French, but what if you don't speak French?
Well, it would have been translated.
Okay.
So yeah, you don't need to speak any other language apart from English. We have particular modules on translated literature and the sorts of things that get lost in translation sometimes, but also things that get found in translation, and the particular language that produces, which is the sort of thing you're looking at when you're studying literature anyway.
Brilliant. So if I'm thinking about studying literature and I was interested in comparative literature, are there special modules that I would have to take at Reading in order to do that degree in English and comparative literature?
Yeah, that's right. So it's split across the two sides, if you like. So the English literature, you will get the same English literature, so you're not, as you would with any other combination, so you're not missing out in any way on the English side of it. On the comparative literature side, you'll then do special modules which look at the ideas I just mentioned around what literature is. So
tell us about one of those.
Go on then,
give us an example of one of those modules that you can study on comparative literature.
In the first year, you will look at two specialist modules, one called Introduction to Comparative Literature, where precisely we look at novels and plays moving across cultures. And then there's a second module on reading and translation, what you're looking for, what's lost, what's found. Then in the second year, we go on and we look at in more detail at particular areas. So there's one on Caribbean writing, looking at the Caribbean as a place where sort of melting pot of Anglophone, Francophone, Hispanophone, Spanish-speaking, Creole and so on cultures. And then the second module looking at something called apocalyptic visions. So it's looking at dystopias throughout literary history, from medieval times, where that's obviously a very strong idea, the idea of burning in hell and so on, right up to quite more modern and contemporary things.
Brilliant. So when talking about sort of the contemporary world, do you feel that there is a particular reason why people might want to study comparative literature now in this particular moment in time that we're at?
I think there is. I mean, certainly from my point of view, there's a reason that I want to teach it, and we've set these degrees up, which is that cosmopolitanism is coming more and more under attack, and I think it's something that we actually want to defend, and we want to say that when you're studying, you are, the more cosmopolitan you are, the better and the more enjoyable and the more worthy it is to study these things. So whereas the idea of doing English literature, I know you're in English literature, so maybe you'll come back, but the idea of studying a language and a people and a nation, in that framework is a little bit old-fashioned, but also sort of dangerous nowadays.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I think that the literatures of different countries become richer the more you study them in the context of other cultures and other frameworks, other ways of thinking. Absolutely, definitely. So for my money, sitting on the English literature side of the fence, I think that it's a wonderful thing to study English and comparative literature together. I suppose people might be thinking, "Oh my goodness, but isn't it twice the work?" I've got to wrap my head around English lit. How can I do it if I'm also studying, literature from other cultures? So how does practically, how does it work studying a joint degree? Is it twice the work?
No, you'll do the same number of modules as you would do in a single honours degree. It's just that around half of them will be in the English literature side of things, and around half of them will be in the comparative literature. So either taught by English lit people or modern languages specialists, or a combination of the two. So in terms of the amount of work, it's no more or less. The thing you get is that you really get to pay attention to where thoughts have come from and where modes of expression have come from. And I think when you're studying English literature, you're doing that anyway, but you just perhaps don't notice as much that it's the case. But you will notice, and you will be trained to look out for and notice lots of details and really interesting sort of peculiarities around the way people write and read literature.
Brilliant. Go ahead.
Yeah, so shall I ask you? I mean,
wait, I've asked all the questions so far. You asked me some questions.
So what? I mean, so all of this is general, and it could apply to many different unis, I suppose. What is it about Reading that makes it particularly good as a place to study literature?
I think if you haven't been to the campus at Reading, come and see us, because we're a very special place. We've got a really beautiful campus, and that makes for a lovely environment for both staff and students. We have, as members of staff, we have really close working relationships with our students. We teach our students in small groups. Our seminars are around 14, 15 students, discussing ideas, throwing them backwards and forwards, debating, disagreeing, listening, all those really important skills that you need for studying any kind of humanities subject. So I think we provide a really supportive environment. We also think really hard about what our students are going to go on to do afterwards. And actually, if people are interested in comparative literature, this might be something that's particularly interesting to them, because one of the things that we feel is our responsibility as a university is to develop not just students here, but people who are ready to go into the world beyond university and to go into the whole world. So who can look to Britain, but also to the rest of the world for careers opportunities. So we've got some fantastic opportunities on campus. I happen to know that John also is responsible for looking after our amazing scheme called the Professional Track. And we'll put a link to that on the comments sheet. So the Professional Track is an amazing professional development scheme that students can undertake that involves academic placements, that involves them going outside the university to undertake some of their academic work, that involves doing courses on campus, and having all that experience written up as a transcript that's there for them when they graduate, so that they can go to employers after they graduate and say, look, I've got a great academic degree, but I've got all these other skills as well. And I think that's a really special thing that we offer here at Reading.
Yeah, that's right. And as you say, I'm the person that does that, so you're not telling me news. But I think it's really good, and it's something I haven't encountered elsewhere. In that it's specifically for students of literature and language.
Yes,
so it's
within our school.
It's taking what we actually do with our students in seminars, those types of skills, the types of specialisms and sort of ethics, if you like, because we do have a particular ethics when we're in this subject, that we approach the world in a certain way, and making people realize that's actually a really valuable thing, rather than something to be forgotten as soon as you go out the door and
I think that's right. I think it's really helping to students to articulate what they've already got from doing their degree here, and helping them also to think about what they want to use those skills for when they leave us physically, but they never really leave us, because they remain part of our community here. They're here in spirit. Absolutely.
Great. Okay. And so say I'm a student, I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe this is sounding like it might be for me. Where can I go and find more information?
So lots of different places. So you might want to go to UCAS, go to the UCAS website. The course code for comparative literature is Q200. So you can go and look for it there. You can go and look on our Discover at Reading pages, Discover Study at Reading pages. So we'll put a link to that on this Facebook video now. And you can email us. So if you email English-literature@reading.ac.uk, we'll pick that email up if you've got any specific questions. It's me answering it, so I'd be very happy to discuss that with you, and I can forward emails on to John, and we can have an individual conversation about any questions that you may have at all. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, fantastic.
Great.
Okay.
Thanks very much, everybody, and we hope to get those questions really soon. Bye-bye now.